It disappeared. It disappeared. It disappeared. It disappeared. It disappeared. It disappeared. A fine, full, dignified beard.
But I have a cool document that I've been sitting on. It's been sitting in my inbox for a long time. Longer than I've had a YouTube show. This is something I've blacked out certain names and certain dates in order to protect the individual involved. The paperwork I'm about to show you is a recording contract from the desk of Psychopathic Records. Now, what this contract covers is a deal through the Hatchet House sub-label. I'm not going to speak on the source of this document. I can tell you that I don't believe this document was ever signed by anybody. The money may be a little skew because we're talking about quite a while ago. But what's important here and what we're really going to delve into are clauses. Now, in a contract, you can say whatever you want. You can say, okay, you're going to make shoes for me. I'm going to contract you to make shoes, right? So, you going to make shoes, and I'm going to buy them, and then I'm going to resell them, and that's how I'm going to make my money. But you're not going to make as much money as me. So, you're going to get less than half or whatever. And then, we're going to get into it. We'll just get into it, because now I'm confusing myself. So, understand that first of all, this is an incomplete document. There are a couple of pages missing, but they're like the end pages, the signing pages. And instead of like just having a bunch of signature lines with black squares under them, I just omitted those pages. The pages are out of order. And if there's a word that I think we need to look up for you guys to fully understand what that word means contractually and why Psychopathic Records may want to hide the way they run their contracts, we're gonna look that up. So let's just go ahead. So this is what we have. This is page 1 of the contract. As you can see there, it's on that old school, the label that runs beneath the streets letterhead. We love that. Let's go ahead and zoom in. We're going to go in quite close so we can make sure you guys can read that. I can read it. Hopefully you can too. Well, let's move it around. All right, so that's top. Obviously, on letterhead. There's that. Hatchet House. Standard recording artist recording agreement. A lot of this is legalese. And if it's legalese, I'm just going to skim through it and like kind of give you the gist of it. So all this explains who is who. You have an artist whose name has been fucking whatever, professionally known as Black Mark, an individual, all right, and Hatchet House. 32575 Folsom Road, Farmington Hills, Michigan, 48336, also known as the company. That is the Psychopathic Records address. All right. So, services. Company hereby engages artist, and artist hereby accepts such engagement for the artist to render exclusive recording services for the benefit of the company and the company's designees and licensees. Okay. Oh. First things first. My bust. We have to do... See, they're out of order. So you're going to have to kind of bear with me a tad. Okay, this is more important. So this is like the first page. This is like the proposal of payment. And there's really only one part you need to concern yourself with. Territory. The universe. So everything in this contract from Psychopathic Records is applicable everywhere. Everywhere. Here, other countries, Mars, bottom of the fucking ocean, another dimension, everywhere. That's a little strange, because usually you get domestic rights, you deal with international rights, you deal with, digital intellectual property rights, you deal with a lot of different things. This contract just lumps it all into one ball and calls that shit the fucking universe. Now, this person's deal was up to 4 LPs, one with 3 options, 10,000 advance, you got to pay it back, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Royalties. So, people always wonder, what do you make when you sell a record? Well, according to this, you're all in royalties for the first and second LP, $1. $1. So this contract from Psychopathic Records Hatchet House gave the artist $1 on every record sold. Now that's $1 of accountable money. That is before recoupment. That is before payback of your advance, which you pay back your advance. That's whatever. Okay. On your third and fourth record, if you last that fucking long without starving to death, you get $1.10 on each record you fucking sell. Okay? On your singles, which explains why they didn't put many out, you're only going to make 10 cents per every single you get. Like, this is like Spotify money. Like, I didn't want to get into the money because the money could be a little skewed, but then I fucking realize that $1 a record? Are you on dope? So, okay. EPs, you're going to get 50 cents a record. So think about that. Think about somebody like Light, who had 3 versions of a record that didn't chart, all EPs. So let's say he made 6,000 that he sold. Let's say he sold 6,000 units. You're getting 30 cents, fam. You're getting 30. Yeah, you say you're getting $3,000 on 6,000 units at $1 a piece. This is ridiculous. That's craziness. How are you gonna sell a record in in the store for $15 in 3 versions, and somebody gonna be making 50 cents? I don't know, dog. All right. So, percentage of base royalty rate. This is a good one. So, for international distribution of all this, if the shit was sold in Canada, you're only going to get 75% of what I just said. And if it's the rest of the world at large, including Asia and some of the bigger markets, you're only going to get fucking half. So you're dealing with the idea that if you sell a record in, say, Kazakhstan, they could be, whoever this person was, could have been making as little as 25 cents on the fucking unit. That's insanity, kid. I don't even know how that's possible, fam. Like, we're not talking about 50 cents on the dollar. We're talking about 50 cents on the unit. That's, whatever. Okay. This is all legalese. Okay. Creative, technically and commercial satisfactory delivery of masters by artist required. Company records artist masters under company approved recording budget, which comes out of your money. Any videos. This is a good one. This is an important one. Y'all should be aware of this one. Any videos recoupable from royalties. So if you have a video, for example, your name's Blase Rose, and you have a video and the video costs $10,000, and then you put out an EP, oh no, I'm sorry, you put out a record called Broken, and your record only sells maybe 5,000 units. You made $5,000 at $1 a fucking record. That's less than half of the money that they're going to take back from you for that fucking $10,000 fucking video you did. Like, that's ridiculous. Okay? Any advertising, publicity, and independent promotion recoupable from royalties. So what this means is that however the company decides to advertise you, promote you, or do publicity, they're going to do it, and then whatever that costs them, they're going to charge back to your royalty. So after everything, you could be looking at making pennies on the unit. Straight the fuck up. You could be making pennies on the unit. Now, why would this be important? And why would nobody be allowed to talk about information like this? Because obviously, if this is the situation, then that family shit goes out the fucking window, fam. If Psychopathic Records is making 90% of everything their artists generate through fucked up contracts and fucked up clauses, then this is the same thing that we applauded Hobson for doing when they left. This is the same thing we applauded Ice Cube and Dre when they left NWA. This is the same thing we applauded other artists for doing, getting out of rape deals. But in those circumstances, the people at large could talk about the rape deals. Let's go back. So we talked about the territory. So understand that everything we talk about from now on exists everywhere in the known universe, and then anywhere that may possibly be discovered. I mean, just fathom that. Like, if we fucking colonize Jupiter and we start doing shows at the Jupiter Bowl, the contract it's applicable on fucking Jupiter, fam. All right. So, let me zoom in so we can make sure we get this nice and big for y'all. So, yeah, they get to sell your masters within the territory. Artist agrees to appear and perform in accordance with company's reasonable instructions and direction in a first-class professional manner to the best of the artist's ability, which that's come up before with artists. And I think the terms first-class professional manner to the best of artist ability may be the reason we're not seeing Ouija on tour right now. But I digress. You got to deliver one LP to the company within 9 months of the date first written above, which was the date this would have been signed, or the date it was offered, I guess. Would be more applicable, because I don't think it was signed, like I said. D is an important one, because a big thing with artists, especially now, is ownership of their masters. That clause right there that says all master recordings delivered to the company shall be the sole and exclusive property of the company in perpetuity, okay, means that the company owns any of the music, the publishing, the masters, and everything about that music for perpetuity. Now, if you don't know what perpetuity means, this is where one of those places where I'm going to go to the good old Google machine and I'm going to show you guys the definition of the word perpetuity and why any contract that uses this term is probably something you want to stay away from. For lack of a better word, I guess, perpetuity means forever. Like, forever and ever. Perpetuity. A bond, other security with no fixed maturation date. Okay, that's even work. A restriction making an estate an alienable perpetuity or for a period beyond certain limits fixed by law. Or 3, the state of or quality of lasting forever. So not only do they own your masters, but they make a point of telling you, we own your fucking shit forever. Forever. And ever. In all the known universe. Forever. There's not a mechanism here for an artist to get their work back. There's no fucking clause in there that says under this set of circumstances, the rights to this music revert to the artist, which in most fucking times, now especially, people have time limits where it says, look, the company will own your masters for a period of 10 years. After that, they revert back to you. Most motherfuckers can get that shit now. Okay. At this point, this isn't even smart moves. This is like slavery. We're just, this is the tip of the dick. This is the tip of the Vaseline-less dick. Like, trust and believe. We might not even be able to get through this whole document tonight. This might be a 2 fucking parter that you and your friends can come back for, because this is rape. This is what we know. This is the shit you hear about. An artist getting butt fucked out of everything. And when you start dealing with words like perpetuity, which means fucking forever, when was the butt fucking gonna stop? But the whole point of this is a standard psychopathic deal. At least the clauses. I'm sure the money is different, but the clauses, I bet you the clauses within this contract are either identical to the clauses within Twiztid's contracts or very, very fucking similar. And this is the shit they can't talk about. And this is the shit that would explain why they left. If you were making pennies on the unit, pennies, would you stick around? If they owned all your music forever, would you want to stick around? Like, this isn't underground. This isn't family. This is mainstream industry shit that we're looking at right here. So understand, this is what makes ICP and Psychopathic Records go round. Not family love, all right? A couple of pennies on the dollar, fam. A couple pennies on the fucking dollar, all right? So, the term agreement, all right, which is the contract itself, the term of this agreement shall commence as of the date and shall continue for a first contract period on a date 7 months following the initial release of the album. That's pretty standard. A 6 to 9 month post-album time that you're still on the label, regardless. But no event later than the date 12 months following the company's receipt of delivery constituting the album. So it's going to be at least 7 months from the release, but no more than 12 months from when they take possession of your recording. Therefore, thereafter, the company will have 3 separate options, which was second, third, fourth records, to extend the term of additional contract periods, sometimes herein referred to as option periods. It's similar to like sports people. Sometimes the teams have an option whether or not they can just make you stay there for another year at a certain amount of predetermined, payment. So basically, the company can exercise a contract period option. The option period concerned shall commence and be until 7 months following the release of another project. So they can just keep renewing you if they want, up to 4 records. Okay. Let's see. We already went through that one. Okay. Let's see. What's this one about? Oh, here we go. This is some interestingness for us all. Okay. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in this paragraph, if the company has not exercised its option to extend the term for a further contract period as of the date on which the current contract period would otherwise expire, the following shall apply. The artist shall send a letter via certified mail letting the company know that the option has not yet been exercised. The company shall have the right to exercise the option at any time until 30 business days after the receipt of said letter. The current contract period shall continue. So if your shit expires and you never send them a letter, it never actually expires. You got to send them a letter, and then they have within 30 days of the receipt of that letter to exercise the option. So you can't fucking do anything else. And then it's like, this does not limit the company from shit canning you, which we saw. We saw them exercise that one with Blase Rose for fucking sure. We saw them exercise that one. For the avoidance of any doubt, for each option that is exercised, the artist shall be required to minimally deliver one album. Okay, seems pretty fucking cut and dry on that one. Recording costs. If the artist chooses to produce the master recordings in whole or part at the Lotus Pod, or a recording studio of the company's choice, the company shall incur all such recording costs, but not production services, which shall be the sole responsibility of the artist. So there's more money that's being taken out of your pocket, but that's pretty normal. You gotta pay for the production, but not the recording, if you do it someplace the company chooses. If you choose the place, the company shall, but isn't required to, advance you those recording costs. They don't have to. They might. If the company does, that shit's going to get deducted directly from your fucking royalties again, including your mechanical royalties. Now, if you recorded anything prior to this contract and you delivered it to the company, that's considered something that was recorded under this contract, and it is deemed master recordings, which the company owns. Alright, so any subsequent everything, including live performances, shall be deemed master recordings, which means you're fucked on that one too, because they own all your shit, including live performances. Commercially and technically satisfactory for the production of mass sales. And then the artist is, if you got to clear any samples, which that's pretty fucking standard, the artist is responsible for that. Let's see. Let's see as we continue. As we continue through into the deep, dark world of fucking contract law. I'm not saying it's going to be exciting. I just said it was going to be informational. It's the artist's responsibility to pay for any production services. If the company chooses to pay for the production services, it'll be deducted from your royalty. Now, this is where things get dicey too, because Psychopathic used all their own people. So, let's say you have a record and they're like, okay, you're going to do it in our studio, so you're not going to pay for the studio recording time, but you got to pay for the production stuff, so you're going to pay our engineer. And that's how much you're paying them. That's it. It's that if they say that, that's what you end up having to pay them. They can basically put any price tag they want, and they're the final authority on such things, which we'll get to, because this contract's got a bunch of shit regarding, like, if there's a disagreement, we win. The company. Like, the company will be held to be correct regardless of circumstance. When in doubt, see Rule 1. The company's always right. So, we'll get more into this, obviously. This is all about paying back money. You will pay back all the money for all the production, for all the recording, for all the clearances, for all the samples, for everything. And it's going to come out of whatever money you might see. Which, by the way, you're only going to get your payment twice a year. twice a year. Once in January, once in July. This contract here, for whatever reason, lends itself to twice a year auditing. I don't know if that's normal. I've heard 4 times a year auditing when it comes to like royalties and shit. But apparently with this, it comes January and July, twice a year. You getting 2 paychecks, fam, unless you do live shows or other shit. But even some of that money, you paying back to the company for no fucking reason. But we gonna get into that. So this is all legalese that they still owe everything. Recoupable advances. Except as specifically stated, the recording costs described above, along with any other costs or expenses incurred by the company in connection with the production, sale, promotion, marketing, advertising, including but not limitation co-op advertising or exploitation of the masters, as well as the costs and expenses designated as recoupable advances, charges or costs. Basically, you got to pay back every dollar they give you. If they gave you money at any point, you got to give it back. And it's going to come out. If they gave you anything, if they printed a fucking poster with you on it, if they made a phone call, if they got you radio placement, any of that, everything's coming out of that dollar you're getting per record, that 50 cents you're getting per EP, and that 10 cents you're getting per single. Don't forget, that's not a lot of money to begin with. And then they're like, well, then we need this. We need this. At the end of all this, you could end up owing money, which is the current situation with Blase Rose. Blase Rose still owes the company money because she never recouped. Guaranteed. I got video of her saying it. You test me. You've seen the video. It's up on my YouTube. Don't make me play the same shit twice. I don't like playing the same thing twice, but she admitted it. She had a $10,000 budget for the White Lights video, and she didn't even recoup that. So that's why she don't get no payments twice a year. And it's going to be 20 fucking years before she sees a nickel. Because at that payback schedule, she would have to sell 15,000 at least. And she didn't come nowhere near that. She didn't come nowhere near that. Oh, look at that. They're going to provide to you at its expense all artwork and packaging. Look at that. That's nice of them. So they're going to give you the artwork and packaging, mostly so they can control it. You don't have an option on your marketing and stuff with this company, it seems. Records sold, royalties. We looked at this thing. This is all legalese involving suggested retail pricing of records. But all that doesn't matter because you're only getting $1 for every one that they sell. Oh, okay. So this is kind of fucked up. But it's certainly interesting. C right there, notwithstanding the foregoing, under no circumstances shall the artist's royalty for records sold exceed 50% of the company's net receipts therefor. What does that mean? That means that even if the artist under this contract sold 50 billion fucking records, the company would still have to make at least half that money. That under no circumstances will what the artist receive for records sold exceed half of what the company made. So actually it's not even 50-50. You're getting stuck with, if you can't exceed half of what the company made, then if the split is 100% between two people, that means you would have to make 24.9% or less. So the company's at least going to make double under all circumstances, regardless of how many records you sell. How crazy is that? No matter how many records you sell, the company is always going to make at least double what you did. Because according to that clause, under no circumstance shall an artist's royalty for records sold exceed 50% of the company's net receipts. Are you fucking serious? That means at some point they'll just cap you. No more money on that for you. Sorry. No matter how many more records you sell, the company's always going to make double what you make. Family, right? Family. Family. Half your shit. Half your shit. All right, we're going to continue. This is all about more legalese, about the ownership of masters. Your other royalties are capped at 6 cents per song, so 60 cents per record sold. Yeah. So yeah, there's another 60 cents that you might get if you do something. What that is, if another company was to contract you for, yeah, if there's an applicable third party and they're trying to book you, you're only going to get 6 cents per song, up to 10 songs, so capped at 60 cents a record. So they could basically pimp you out to another company at however much money and pay you 60 cents a record. Enjoy that. And then remember, out of that 60 cents a record, they're going to take your video money back, they're going to take your promo money back, they're going to take your merch money back, they're going to take all this shit back. Oh, we haven't even gotten to like the real meat of this cock, which is like the merch deal. Like, the amount that these fucking heads were making on merch, if you think about the amount of merch that's been moved, and at what quantity and, like, price range, shit's amazing to think of how much money this company truly pimped out of people, if this is the real deal. Which, the contract's the real deal. What I mean is if these clauses are all the same, which I have to assume they are, and I can also see why information like this could be damaging to the entire idea of, well, we were family. Well, if we were family, motherfucker, why are you treating people that work for you like hoes and being like, anything you make, I gotta make double, or we can't do business? That there's no circumstance under which you're gonna make more than half of what I'm making. That's literally what that clause said. Literally. What that clause said. Was it on the other page? Oh, no, it's right here. Under no circumstances shall artist royalty for record sales exceed 50% of the company's net receipts. So that's a contract clause that says under no circumstance, no matter what, you're never going to make more than half. You're never going to make more than half of what the company made. So they're always going to make at least double. If that's not slave master, I don't know what the fuck is, man. Like I'm dumbfounded at that one. Like, I've read this thing a million times, and every time I read it, it becomes more and more fucking disturbing to me. So think about that shit. We're gonna pay you $1 a record, but no matter how much you make, remember, we always gonna make double, fam. Always. Let's say 6 cents. With respect to all controlled compositions, we own them. There we go. That's the accounting of royalties. For all royalty payments due to this artist from the company, excluding merch, which is a different thing altogether, company will account to the artist twice a year. Once in January, once in July. And they'll get in writing via the mail their accounting, which is how much they made in sales and then how much of that money they didn't get because it went back to recoupment. So I'm pretty sure there's been some empty envelopes showing up in motherfuckers' houses because they ain't been able to recoup their shit. All right, that's the bottom of that page. What page are we on? I don't even know. Page 7? Like, we're only, like, halfway through this motherfucker, and we're pulling up on an hour. So we're probably going to end up doing this page. And then tomorrow, after I'm going to knock out the Cadaver interview, we'll do the rest. And the rest includes... Oh, you know what? This is great because merchandising is coming up. And I know merchandising is a very exciting part of this fucking thing because I know the amount of cock that is involved in that and how little lube. Sound scan, royalties, etc. Okay, this is actually a good place to stop because we're going to get into merchandising next. And this has got to do with how much money per item and what percentage of sales on merchandise this artist would get. And I want you to think about how much merch you've bought. And I want you to think about how much merch people you know have bought. And the price of a lot of that merch. So when we get in to the percentages and we start talking about this money, you understand like what's good. Like really what's good. And you understand the scope of the butt fucking that anybody coming out of Psychopathic Records was getting and probably still is getting. Like, I'd hate to be one of the new guys. This is probably the exact deal Ouija got. Like, I can't think of any... this is probably the same deal Light got. If somebody... Like, go ahead. Hit my box. If you think I'm fraudulent with this, hit my box. Let me know. But tomorrow, we're just going to get into part 2. We're going to start with merchandise.